I got a bunch of welcome everybody to Dark Entry. This is another Dark Entry. This is the Dark Carnival that is my mind. Glad you're here with us. Tonight, at the very end of near the end of the show, we got a couple things to talk about. But I'm going to bring in my first guest, and it is Capt Bronco. You may know. Southern California, biggest Bronco fan. He's going to pop in. We're going to talk a little Broncos. I'm going to kick that can down the road. So if you don't want to hear about the Broncos, you can just tune out. Although it's going to be fun because I think he's been drinking all day, and usually when that happens, good things happen. Speaking of football, and we'll probably talk a little bit about it. You see, I'm wearing my NFL hat. I had this hat a long time ago, and what's his name? Rob Lowe popularized it by wearing it on the sideline of some game that he was at, probably the Colts. I think he's a big Colts fan. And I was like, oh, that's my hat. I used to wear this around all the time. People are like, oh, you really like the NFL? I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, I do. And I just came from watching the CSU CU game with some friends down at the Dam Grill, which is down over on like 225 and I-25 where it connects and kind of in DTC. Great little bar, some old friends, some new friends, and we had a real good time. I think they're losing, but I am not a college football fan. I just went because I wanted to see some folks, wanted to see them, say hey, had a couple beers with them, but I left just in time to come here and do this show for you. So you're very welcome that I left. But I did wear this hat because I just wanted to make sure everyone knew that I'm not a big college football fan. I don't like it. I was hoping CSU could win. Not a big Deion Sanders guy. I think he's kind of a bad dude. But I know a lot of people that are into CU, they cover CU, and I wish them nothing but the best. I'm happy for them, but no, it's just not my bag, baby. And no, I'm a big NFL guy, and you might as well watch the best of the best. And watching, I think I mentioned this last week, like Georgia whipped up on Appalachian State, 68-0. That's not that's not what we want to see in a football game. But I digress. We're going to talk about a couple things, and then at some point, the captain's going to join us. I gave him the link. I hope he can figure it out, because then otherwise it's going to be a real short show, because I was going to talk for a little bit and then get him in here. I'm drinking some beer. This is the Outlaw, made by Tivoli Brewing, and it's a light beer, like a yellow beer. It's very low alcohol, so you can drink a bunch of them. I believe they call that crushable. Not my term, sorry. Meaning you can drink a lot of them and be okay. So 4.8, I think it is, and another Costco buy, which got me in trouble. I mentioned my smell last week. I talked about my smell, and part of the reason why I thought my smell was activated was because I was going to Costco and I was buying these big suitcases of IPAs. It was super cheap and it was great. And I was like, oh man, it's like, $28 for 24 cans of this IPA. And I was just like drinking it down. And then as I mentioned before, my smell, to reset, if you weren't here for the smell talk, I have a weird smell now. And it was because I was I couldn't taste, back up. I couldn't taste or smell, so I was just drinking cheap beer. Then I was getting gout, or so I think. And so I was like, oh, I can only drink better beer. I got to drink something that's, not mass produced. So I started drinking that. Then I started to smell. Well, I stopped drinking that. And then I started drinking just kind of like regular beer again. And again, I said this before. I know that if I just stop drinking, yes, that would probably solve all the problems. And but it's an ongoing experiment. Anyway, so it's been probably over 2 weeks since I drank any IPAs. I've had Budweiser, I've had Coors Light, now this outlaw beer. The smell kind of came back, and I know you're riveted by this, and wondering when the smell is going to leave, but it kind of came back. So I'm ongoing experiment. I'm gonna keep going with it, and we'll see what happens. Um, this Tivoli beer may be not mass produced enough. It might be small enough that then it would create the smell. I don't know. We're gonna figure this out, folks, and you're gonna be here and along for the journey with me. So, with that said, uh, I recently the news came out that Dave Grohl had fathered a child out of wedlock, and I just the first thing that popped in my head was, why didn't this man, who's got to be he's got to be close to 60 now. I don't know how old Dave is, but I'm thinking, like, why didn't he have a vasectomy at this point? He's got a family, and granted, this is a bad thing. He cheated on his wife. He knocked somebody up. He already has a family. He's already got kids. I don't know how many kids he has. I'm just saying, if you're going around, you're a rock star and you're traveling the world and you're happening to do something like this, why wouldn't you have had a vasectomy at this point? I don't understand it. If you if you've had one, and I think it kind of scares some people. I've talked to people who are like, "Oh, I would never get that." I'm like, dude, just do it. Why do you want to have a kid when you're fucking 58 years old? That just sounds awful to me. And I don't know why Dave is out there in the world fucking throwing it around and not having a vasectomy, because now his life got a lot more complicated. And when you get that old, you even someone as famous as him, you do not want it to get that complicated. So I don't understand Dave. But Dave's made some weird decisions in the past too. There was a thing I stumbled upon where he and some of his bandmates had like back this like person who was like that was like an AIDS denier. Like they said, oh, AIDS isn't real, and you're not getting AIDS from this. It's because you've done drugs in the past, and that's why you're getting AIDS. It was like HIV didn't exist or something like that, and this person was like had this thing, and whatever, man, you can have whatever wacko belief you want, but Dave and his guys were like playing like shows for this person, and that really struck me as odd. That's not exactly a cause you want to get behind. Again, feel free to believe that if you want, but then when you're like getting out there and and promoting it, it seems odd. It strikes a little chord with me because I had a friend who essentially died of that, and I think it was because he convinced himself that it wasn't real. I don't know if he listened to this person or he got his information from them. I don't think so. I have no idea. I have no way of knowing that, but I think they kind of got in their head that this isn't what I've been sold. This is a conspiracy. This is something else, and I can deal with it another way. And guess what? You can't. And if you have that and you don't do anything, it will kill you. Public service announcement from me, guys, and that's that is not really something that you want to have to hear, but yeah, it happens. So yeah, Dave, I can't really feel too sorry for you. It is just something that you probably should have thought about before you started throwing into young women on tour. I can imagine that you get a lot of offers all the time, but your family now thinks you're a scumbag, and a lot of people do. So that's cool. Somebody called him. They said, "Oh, this guy, he thinks he's the president of rock and roll," and I was like, "That's a pretty good description of him. He does think he's the president of rock and roll." And he went against Taylor Swift, and I think once you go against Taylor Swift, you have some issues. You run into some problems once you do that. I think Captain Bronco is a big Taylor Swift fan. I think he's into it, and I think he'll enjoy this next part. I was going to talk about it a little later, but since I talked about Dave Grohl criticizing Taylor Swift, I think he said she's not playing the music or she's not writing the songs or something. Whatever, probably right. But just don't do it, man. It's bad news. The thing that I was going to talk about was that there was something where there was some MAGA chud, and they were like, they were saying that, oh, we're not, MAGA isn't, if you don't know what MAGA is, Make America Great Again. It's a blanket for all those people that are still riding Donald Trump into the grave. They said, oh, we're really scared of that 14 to 25-year-old demographic that follows Taylor Swift. And I was like, well, 14 to 25, you still got 18-year-olds to 25-year-olds. There's a lot of people in that voting block, and you're basically like tempting them and goading them into swinging this election. Not to mention all the people beyond 25 years old. I know tons of people that are into Taylor Swift that are older than that. You're insulting them, and you know what? They've mobilized before, and you can see how dedicated they are. Keep saying those things. I think it's awesome. I think you should just keep saying it, and we'll see what happens. I think it's going to be a hilarious outcome if you keep taunting these people and letting them giving them the reasons to end this MAGA era, and I hope they do. So, excuse me, I got a belch. I drank some Coors Lights when I was out at the bar. I think to mention the Dam Grill, it's over in DTC, and I had a few, and they have very, very cold beer there. It's extremely cold. Now, when they pour it into the pitcher and bring it up to the table, it's not as cold. But if they pour one right in the pint and give it to you, sometimes there's ice floating in it. It's really nice. So just not an ad. Just if you're over there, hey, check it out. So I did this before. I had some albums that were released this week in history. Tom Waits' Foreign Affairs was released in 1977 this week, and that's 47 years ago. And it is it's not the best Tom Waits album. I was just listening to some on my way back. It's just the opportunity to talk about Tom Waits, because I love him, is always important. There's a song on there. It's called Jack and Neil, and that is a reference to Jack Kerouac and Neil Cassidy, because Tom has a Denver link, and he was like obsessed with these guys, the Beats of long ago, and so Captain Bronco says there's no links yet. Man, I've got to text him real quick. Let me see. I'm gonna say check your email, and then I'll try to keep talking. So Tom was really into these guys, and he was like trying to drink with Neil Cassidy, and Neil Cassidy was born and raised in Denver, and so he has a Denver connection, and a lot of what Jack Kerouac wrote in On the Road, a lot of it takes place in Denver, and Tom Waits was certainly into Denver. He'd spent time here. I think he spent time up in Boulder. In Nighthawks at the Diner, I believe the album is, he references the Terminal Bar, which is a bar that was in lower downtown, and it is now like a Jack's Fish House. I think it's still that. It's right on the corner of, like, man, I want to say that's like 17th and not Wazee, but one of those right there. But yeah, he sings about it in there. I remember when it was the Terminal Bar still, and it's very cool that he has that. So that's why I just want to bring up Tom Waits, just because he has a little bit of a Denver connection. Pink Floyd, Wish You Were Here, came out 49 years ago. And that's a classic. I think I would say that's probably one of Floyd's best. And I think it was the band's favorite, and I don't know if it did as well as some of the stuff that came before and after that, but it's really good. Ween Chocolate and Cheese came out 30 years ago, and that's a fantastic record. And Slayer's Divine Intervention, also 30 years ago. And that was a really good Slayer record. I used to play it for my children when they were very little. They kind of liked it, which is odd. The other one is REM's Monster. Came out 30 years ago this week. Now, I bring this up. REM's great. I'm big into REM. The later stuff, not so much. And I think this would qualify as probably the later stuff. But it has on what's the frequency, Kenneth. Now, if you know that song, very famous song, it I learned that it's a reference to when Dan Rather was attacked on the streets of New York, and the guy basically was like, he was kind of freaking out, and he said something to the effect of "What's the frequency, Kenneth?" as he was beating him. Now, I've always known it as a line from a Dan Close comic, the Velvet Glove, Cast in Iron, all that stuff. Not Ghost World, I think it was Velvet Glove, and it was something where someone came up and they said, "What's the frequency, Kenneth?" I thought he invented that, and REM did the song after that, but I guess it was from this Dan Rather thing, and then I realized that REM kind of made it famous, but it was about Dan Rather. I'm guessing REM got it from the Dan Close thing. But you can look that up. You can just do a Google image search if you'd like, and you will see that Close did it first, and that's okay because REM made it popular, and then now we know that it's about Dan Rather being attacked. Always got to know where the weird references come from. So of weird references, I just saw a thing where hobby horsing is a huge sport in Germany, and if you don't know what hobby horsing is, it's when people get like a horse head on a stick, like a fake horse head, and they jump around and they jump over things like they would a normal horse, but they do it with this fake horse. It's kind of like Quidditch, if people are playing Quidditch from like Harry Potter, but obviously they're not flying around on brooms because that's impossible. So they kind of do their own modified version with like a broomstick between their legs. And so this is like a big thing, and I guess it's like big in Germany, and just a very hey, we need more sports like this. We need more diverse sports. We need things that people can do, regular people can do, and that is hobby horsing. That's somebody jumping around on a horse on a stick. So I'm trying to figure out where Captain Bronco is. I gave him the link. I hope he's going to be here. If not, it might be a short show. We're gonna figure this out. I am in the I mentioned on the first show, I'm in doing a Lost rewatch, and I'm in the 5th season now, and I'm about midway through. I think pretty close to finishing that season because it wasn't as long as some of the other ones. This is the one where they go back to the island. Well, shit, if you haven't seen this, I don't want to spoil it for you. I think I just did, so I might as well just keep going. They go back to the island, but there's something going on where they keep flashing in and out of time, and a bunch of people get trapped in the 70s, and then they're in the 70s, and it sounds ridiculous. And I know one of the criticisms at the time was like, "Oh, it's like Gilligan's Island." It's like, no, it's not, because they actually get off the island. I mean, Gilligan does at one point. I think they go back. Like they build a resort there. That's when like the Harlem Globetrotters come there and all that stuff. But they just don't go back, but they get transported to the 70s, and they're in there. They're trying to get back to their regular time, and it's good, man. There's still some good moments in it. It's really good TV. It does strike me as like this kind of like a network kind of show, and I think I mentioned this before, that it does have a network vibe to it. You watch it and you're kind of like, oh, I'm kind of watching like a network show. And that's fine. It's all right. It's good, man. They did a good job with it. So I'm looking forward to seeing the end of it, and then kind of reevaluating about what happened with the finale, because I know the finale was a little divisive with everyone. But fresh eyes on it. I'm going to see what's going on. We'll see. Oh, I'm already 20 minutes in, right? So I'm going to keep on trucking. I'm hoping he can join. I'm scared though. I think I fucked this up, but we'll see. I wanted to say, I was out watching college football, and the NFL is my bag, right? So I just want to say that I think Adam Schefter is a loser. If you don't know who Adam Schefter is, he is the premier NFL reporter, and everything goes through him, and he's the guy. So like tomorrow morning, you're like trying to figure out who to start in fantasy football. He will have the inactive report, and he'll know first. He will know all of it, and there's a reason why, because he's a total suck up. And he got caught recently, and there was something where the emails got leaked, and he was basically giving stories to some of the owners. And one of the owners, I think it was the Washington Commanders, and he was giving him a story saying, "Oh, well, let me know what you think, Mr. Editor." And he's pretty much just telling this guy, "Hey, go ahead and cut this up however you want. I'll do whatever you want." That's not what a reporter does. That's what a corporate suck up asshole does, and that's what he's been doing. And he'll never admit it. He just kind of pretended like it didn't happen. But he's literally giving stories to these guys and saying, is this okay? Is this all right? So, if you've got like if like Deshaun Watson, it was hilarious because it was his birthday today, and the Browns had to put a thing out where they said, "Happy birthday, Deshaun Watson." If you don't know who Deshaun Watson is, he's a guy who's like credibly accused of like over 20 sexual assaults, and the Browns, went ahead and traded for him anyway, and it's just been a disaster for him. And but like Adam Schefter would like send something to the Browns owner probably and say, "Hey, I was going to say this about Deshaun's sexual assault allegations. Is this okay?" That's not what a reporter does. That's what a fucking suck up scumbag. And it's obvious that's what he's doing that's what he's doing to get his stories and get the information first, which is really gross. I get it. You want to be the top guy, but you're just a shill and a suck up, and that sucks. The thing that really set him off about me is he used to work in Denver, and he was a Broncos reporter starting out, and then he kind of jettisoned off to the big time, and then he there was a guy, Mike Anderson, that played for the Broncos, and he got busted for weed. And he got weed in his system. Now, Mike Anderson was a Marine, and he's a veteran, and Adam really took him to task and was like, "This is really shameful." And I was like, "That dude fucking had weed in his system, big fucking deal." And Mike Anderson was a good player too, and he really like shamed him publicly because of this, and it was obviously just because that's what the owners wanted. They wanted to make sure that this guy got shamed, and Adam Schefter was all too happy to do it. The other thing he does is he gives agents credit. So if somebody gets like a new deal, he's like, the end, he says deal negotiated by, and he gives whatever company they work for or whoever did it. And I was like, do we really care who the fucking agents are? Does anybody give a shit who the agents are in this? The average NFL fan has no idea or doesn't care about who the agents are and why they're negotiating deals, and who cares what they're doing. Those guys are just getting rich off these guys' talent. So why do we care what they're doing? I'm sure that those guys they're doing their job, and I'm sure they're working hard. But we don't care about that. We don't want to know that these guys are the ones that are getting a fucking getting a cut of some young man's work because he's getting possible CTE from playing football, and these guys are capitalizing on it. But Adam Schefter's all about that because he gives those guys credit, gives them a little bit of attention. Then they're going to be like well, we're going to give this guy some information. So it's all about information, and that's kind of what. He's not the only one that's doing it either, but it really sucks. It's really gross. I hate that. And so Adam Schefter, you can suck a big dick, and from me, and I hope you realize one day that you're a piece of shit and a suck up. Still efforting Capt Bronco. I don't think he's going to join us. It doesn't seem like he's going to get in, which is really unfortunate because I had some good things to talk about with him, but we'll try to figure that out. Yeah, so that was really it. I was going to finish off with him and talk to him. I had a new segment which was going to debut with him, where I was going to ambush the guest with some uncomfortable questions after we had talked about the Broncos. If I can bullshit here real quick, I'm going to try and send it to him one more time. And I'm going to do this. And let's see. You're going to have to bear with me, motherfuckers. I don't know if it's going to work. Yeah, that's the same link. So, yeah, I don't think it's going to go. Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen, guys. Sorry. I had him all teed up. It was going to be great. But we'll work on that next week. Maybe we should have done this a little earlier just to make sure he could get in. But yeah, fuck. Sorry, Captain. We'll talk about it later. He's going to have some insight on your Denver Broncos. And then, like I said, he's going to ambush him with some good questions. And but now he knows the drill. So if he sees this, he's going to know that he's going to get the hard ball thrown at him. But yeah, so anyway, I don't know. I think the plan is, I was talking to some folks tonight, and I got some other shows that we were doing together with some other guys, and I thought, well, we're never going to do that again. I was going over to people's houses, we were recording stuff, and I'm just like, that's not going to happen anymore. Just not going to be able to do it. And that's fine. But I thought maybe we can do it here. So this might be a multi episode thing a week, where we could do something like this, where we're going to talk and we're going to bring up Dave Grohl and why he didn't have a vasectomy. And things like that. And then another one where we could talk about the music. We talked about the albums released, and we can maybe cover something more like that. Yeah, we're going to work it out. But, maybe we can have multiple shows a week with all these other topics. We can break sports off into one of the things. So if you don't want to watch the sports, you don't have to watch that one. That's why I was going to put it at the end. So, well, this has been good. I wish we could have gotten the captain on, because I was ready to throw down with him. It was going to be good to see him. I've done shows with him in the past. He's always really good. I was bringing up tonight how there was one time we did a show, and I was probably drinking, but I wasn't really drinking. He was drinking. The Patty apple Irish whiskey, which I just wouldn't recommend to anybody. And it's called the Devil's Apple. And we rechristened it the Devil's Asshole, because what it did to him. And by the end of the show, it certainly was like tonguing the devil's asshole and what it would do to you. And I think he was just, at the end, he was just shrieking, and I couldn't understand him. And I just kind of said, yeah, I gotta go. And it was a great show though, even though it sounded like that. So we'll get him next week, and we'll try to have that happen. But yeah, it's a shame. I don't know why that didn't happen. I've done it before, and people have joined. But hey, you know what? It's a crazy world out there. We'll see about yeah. Well, thanks for joining us on this episode of Dark Entries. We'll be back at it next week, I believe, and maybe have some more. Wait! Did he make it? I see him. Oh no. Hold on. I think he's here. Oh, he was. Oh shit. Well, I got nothing to do, so I can just wait for him. He showed up, and then he bailed. Man, if he can get in, that'll be fucking awesome. I mean, I got nowhere to be, so I could just sit here and talk until he does it. I'm gonna let him know. I saw you. Oh, wait, there he is. There he is. Let's see if it works. Let's see if it works. Gonna add him to the stage. Welcome to the stage, Jade. Jade, are you here? I can see him. Damn. Well, hold on. No, he's there. This guy knows more about technology than I do, so I don't know what the problem is. He's disappeared again. You will need to connect. They will need to connect their mic cam before you can add them. Says you need to connect mic. Like I said, hey, if you're with me this far, you could just sit here and just wait until we do see him. Like I said, we could look around. I've got here is my collection. Todd Helton bobblehead. Drew Soicher just fucking popped a rod, and he does not know why, but somewhere in Denver, someone picked up a Todd Helton bobblehead, and now he's got an erection. That's just how it goes. Various pint glasses, Birdman, all the Avalanche ones. They used to sell these at Arby's. You go to Arby's, and you got to go to Arby's, which is difficult. But you go to Arby's, and then you can get the pint glass of the week. And so there was 2 different runs of the Avalanche ones, and this is I think this is Rob Blake. This is Rob Blake on this one. I've got my McKinnon autographed puck there. These are great. I've got like 2 sets of both. Somewhere they're all over the house. I think we use them still. They're great glasses. But Arby's, come on, man! Why don't you fucking do that anymore? Why are we not doing the pint glasses? There's a whole new generation of athletes to use these glasses with, to have on there. I mean, like Birdman's the last one. Birdman played for the Nuggets like 15 years ago, it seems. Oh wait, hold on, it's a private chat. What's going on here? I can't get in. He's still trying. Yeah, I don't know, guys. Let me tell him I saw you for a bit. Oh, man, we don't want that either. Let's do this. Yeah, I mean, hey, you know what? It happens. It's okay. The technology, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But we'll get him in there. If he doesn't show up here soon, I'm gonna bail out. But I was lamenting over the glasses. Think about the Arby's glasses with Nathan McKinnon and Cale Makar and all that. That would be fantastic to have those. I can see him; he's there, but man, I just don't know why he can't connect. That is really odd. Oh, wait! Uh-oh, he made it. I can't hear you though. I can't hear you. Can you hear me? We're almost there, buddy. We're almost there, buddy. I still can't hear you. Wait. No. I muted you. I unmuted you. Yeah, if you can get your mic figured out, we'll do this. No, can't hear you. This is awesome. He'd like show up and I'd see you and then you disappear. I thought you were a tech guy. I thought you knew about all this stuff. I don't know. Maybe you could just type your answers in. Oh, I lost it. Oh shit. Oh man. Like I said, I got nowhere to be. So it's not a big deal. If you want to hang out and wait for him to try to get in there. I don't know if wait, looks like yeah, I don't know if I'm assuming CU won, but I don't know for sure. I don't care really. I mean, I would prefer CU lose to anybody. And that's why, last week when Nebraska smoked them, it was awesome. It was so much fun. Um, and again, there's people that I like and admire that are really big CU people, and they're into it, and that's fine. I appreciate it. But it's kind of like being friends with a Chiefs fan. You're like, hey, look, you know what, you're all right, but I was gonna say maybe like not like a Trumper, because if you were friends with them, you just really couldn't, you really shouldn't pursue that relationship anymore. But someone's like a Chiefs fan, you're like, okay, you might be a Trumper, but you're probably an all right person. It's okay. So that's how I kind of feel about CU. And so I want them to lose for sure. I definitely want them to lose. I don't know if they're going to lose tonight, but I don't know. I never check the college scores on like the Yahoo app, so I don't know. Sometimes you have to like filter it down and go to like the whatever conference or whatever the hell they play in. Which is another thing too, and I know other people have discussed this over the years. It's really ridiculous that these teams are, Texas was playing some buttfuck team, and they were just rolling all over them, and it was like, okay, maybe you get one of those a season, but really you should be playing the teams that you are more a little more matched up with, better matched up with, and they could do that by forming their main league where all those teams play each other, and and then have some sort of relegation system. And so if you fall out of that top 25 or whatever it is, well, you got to play down in the next league. And they don't really do that, but I think they could do that. But oh, there he is again. Can I hear you? No, I can't hear you. Wow. I don't know what the deal is here. I don't know. He's got his Red Rocks Colorado hat on. He's in the groove. He's wanting to do it. I just don't know if I'm doing something wrong there, Captain. I hope I'm not. No, because I maybe edit mic echo, can't reduce my. No, I just don't think. I don't think we got it, man. I just don't know what's going on with it. I mean, I can see you. You look lovely. But yeah, it's so weird because I think something on my end, but no. Wait,
what?
I can hear you.
How about now?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my God, this is great.
Success.
Wow, I didn't think this was going to happen.
I didn't either, John.
I was gonna bail out soon. I was like,
Don't bail out, bro.
I was just yapping, and all of a sudden, I was like, I'd see you and you'd pop in. What's happening?
How are you? Look at this hat.
I know. I just said, he's got his Red Rocks hat on. This is fantastic.
This is amazing. Good. We're in.
So good to see you. What are you drinking there, buddy?
I'm having a Diet Coke. It's phenomenal.
Wait, I just told everybody you were drinking all day.
I was until I tried to figure out trying to get into this show. So yeah, Diet Coke. It's phenomenal.
Listen, this show is very hard to get into. So we don't want the riffraff coming in, so we make it very difficult for people to get in. So
I appreciate that, John. I love to be that guy.
Well, it's good to see you. I'm going to dive right in because I don't
dive in, bro.
I don't want you to, you spent most of your night trying to get in. So we'll work this out next time. Maybe we'll try to we'll do a dry run next time, but make sure you can get in and in a timely fashion. So I wanted to talk to you about your Denver Broncos.
My Denver Broncos, yes. How about our Denver Broncos?
Well, they're yours until they can show that they're worthy of my attention. Let's just say that. But my original idea was to have you on. This is I thought about this last year.
Yeah.
And then we ended up doing the South Stand show for Bronco season, and we kind of lost track of it. But I thought, excuse me, it'd be great to have you come on. We could talk about the game that just happened, a week ago, and then preview the one coming up. So, last week, a loss, pretty spotty, right? A lot of people were like, "Ooh, Bo Nix doesn't look very good." I thought he looked about what I expected.
Yeah.
And then our good buddy Snyder, he was telling me, he was like watching like I don't know, he was like watching, what was it, Detroit and LA play, and he was like, look at what they're doing. He goes, do the Broncos do any of this? Do any of their plays look like this? And the answer is no. There's all sorts of complicated formations and people running everywhere. Broncos are just kind of like, it's the same thing they did last year. Russell Wilson, okay, probably on his way out, but they look exactly the same as they did last year. What are they doing? Why aren't they spicing it up is what I want to know.
Spicy, right? Who doesn't love the Broncos and spiciness?
Right.
I think you got to look at the Broncos and realize that you got to take time, right? It's going to take time for Bo Nix and the Broncos to get where they need to be.
Sure.
And I think week one is week one. Tomorrow is tomorrow. And I have a firm belief that Bo Nix and the Broncos are going to do quite well. Broncos fans got to go back to John Elway days. It wasn't all. It was in Super Bowls in the beginning. So I think Broncos fans have to be patient and be willing to allow Bo Nix to be Bo Nix.
I'm fine with that. And like I said, all these people were like, "Oh, it's so disappointing." It's like, no. He looked pretty good, considering what you've got. You've got a rookie quarterback with a completely undynamic play calling, right?
Yeah.
So he's just out there kind of doing whatever he can do. Nobody gets open. Like when you watch the fucking Chiefs, there's a guy that's constantly open, right?
Correct.
There's a guy that's open 15 yards down the field, and their future Hall of Fame quarterback just has to like drop it into him. It's so easy for him. Why can't they get people open like that? There's no reason for it. So as far as Bo Nix goes, hey, he looked fine, but if he's going to be dealing with the same thing that old Russell Wilson was dealing with, you're going to have the same results. You know what I mean?
How did Russell Wilson work out last week? He didn't.
Well, he didn't play.
He didn't play. And how does he work out this week? He didn't play.
He's not going to play.
So stop making that comparison.
I'm just saying. Like you said, I'm just saying. You've got Bo Nix, who is a new quarterback, and Russell Wilson, who is an old quarterback. They're meeting on one's going up, one's coming down, but they're both playing in a system that just kind of sucks. So if you've got a mediocre quarterback, it doesn't matter if he's an old guy's been there a while or a new guy, they're both going to have problems.
Yeah, great.
But that was last week. I thought it showed promise, even though a lot of people were kind of naysaying. This week, though, they're playing the Steelers, and the Steelers played Atlanta last week, right? It was Atlanta.
Yeah.
They completely shut down Atlanta. What's his name? Kirk Cousins was hey, what's going on? Oh, jeez. I don't know why that happened.
John, what are you watching?
I don't know. That's my theme music. That's my free theme music that I play, and I don't know why it.
Incredible, my bro.
I don't know why. I don't know what side it decided to kick in. It was like, this is the time. It was probably like, hey, you guys got to shut the fuck up and get out of here. They're trying to play you off. So I play us both off.
1970s porn music is always my favorite.
Yeah. So the Steelers really did a number on those guys. So, but we've got an aging Kirk Cousins who looked like maybe he still has dealing with his Achilles. Is it going to be another slugfest, boring ass game, low scoring? What do you think this week?
I honestly think the Broncos have a chance to open it up. I think, without having Russell Wilson in the mix, I do believe our good friends in the Denver Broncos chair room should open it up and make it a 40-point game. That's what I'm going with. I really feel like
40-point total or 40-point for the Broncos?
Yeah, 40 burgers, bro.
For the Broncos?
Burgers. Yeah, I mean, look, you showed up last week. You didn't do very well. This is the week. you got to let people know you're in town. And Bo Nix is here to play. I'm excited about the Ducks. Quack quack.
I appreciate your enthusiasm. I I think 40 points is generous for the Broncos. Then I would certainly bet the over. I got to check what it is. I thought it was like 38 points. The CU game, the CU CSU game, it was like 3-0 for a while. And when we looked it up, and the over under was like 58, and everyone's like, oh, we should have bet the under, So I appreciate that. I hope that's the case. It'd be great if they scored 40 points. It'd probably be the first time they scored 40 points in like several years, right? When's the last time they scored 40 points?
I believe it was back in the Peyton Manning days.
Yeah, that's been a long time. That's almost 10 years. It's 9 years. So
Yeah.
think about that. It's almost been 10 years since that's happened.
Yeah, I think people got to have faith. I really have a great belief in this team, and I think Bo Nix, watching him during the days of Oregon, I believe they're going to open it up, John. They're going to open it up. It's a big open up.
I'm good. I'm glad for the big opening. We want a big opening for sure. So
it's a fruit bowl salad, my friend.
That's right. So that's good stuff. I want to do this again. I want to get your input on this. I was just talking when I was riffing. Earlier when I was waiting for you, and I was like, we could do this several times a week. We could do a show where I, bullshit about, Dave Grohl should have got a vasectomy. I could do a thing where, we can talk about the Broncos. We can talk about sports. I was doing a music show with my buddies Snyder and Aaron, and we could do that on there too. So we could break this all up. So we'll work this out, and we'll make sure that you can get back in. But what I was going to do is I was going to debut a brand new segment where I ambush the guest. Okay.
Oh,
I'm going to ambush the guest. And here's how I'm going to ambush you.
Ambush me, John.
Captain. Our good friend, our mutual friend, Colin Daniels. You've heard of him?
I'm aware of this gentleman.
Okay. So Colin has this thing. So Colin when I started doing this, he got upset with me because he was like, oh, you're podcasting without me. And I was like, no, not exactly. And I was kind of like, you've got your thing where you're yelling about the immigrants, taking over the apartment building in Aurora. And all that. That's
Aurora.
Fine. You got your own thing.
Cats and the dogs.
This morning, he endorsed Kamala Harris for president. He did. And now that you know that information, I want to get from you. Are you going to endorse Kamala Harris on this show? Are you going to take that step?
First of all, good for Colin. Just love that dude. No, I am doing what I've done for the past 3 years. I'm voting for myself. Capt Bronco for president. That's where I'm ending up.
Well, you know what? Better than the other alternatives. So I'm glad that you're going to do. But yeah, so I thought if Colin's doing it, I needed to ask you what you were doing. So I'm glad you answered the question. It's I didn't mean to ambush you, but I think it's a new thing I'm going to do. So when I get somebody in here, I could get somebody and be like, hey, let's talk about this album that came out 30 fucking years ago. And then I'll be like, hey, what about that time that you ran a red light and didn't pay your red light ticket? It's fair. I'm working it out. So
I love it.
It's excellent. So, okay. So I've almost gone 50 minutes, and I've usually been doing like a half hour. So I'm gonna get us out of here. But I'm glad you could make it. Appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
We're going to work this out. So we're going to do this again, and we're going to make sure you can pop in and talk about the Broncos. And we're going to see if that 40 burger happens this week.
It's going to happen, Johon.
Listen, if people are betting their life savings on what you said and it doesn't happen, then that's going to be another ambush for you. Okay.
Yeah, I look forward to that, but I do believe 40 points, 40 burger, my friend.
Okay. I mean, I'll bet the total's 40. Yeah, the total of both teams might be 40, but
Russell Wilson ain't even playing.
Hey, you never know. We're gonna see. We're gonna circle back next week, and we're gonna see Yeah, we're gonna see what happens. So I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna end the show here. I appreciate you coming in. I'm glad you made it. It was awesome, and hopefully we can do it again soon. So hey, everybody, thanks for tuning in. This has been another episode of Dark Entries. Thanks to Captain Bronco for popping in. We'll get back at it next week, hopefully, and we'll see you then. So until next time, adios.